Welcome back to TechBytes. In our previous episode, we explored Python data types with real world analogies, but theory alone isn't enough. Today, we will get hands on with Python and see data types in action.
Wait, so today we're actually going to write code and see how Python handles different data types?
Exactly. Let's jump into coding and explore Python's numeric, text, Boolean, sequence, and mapping types in real time. Before we start coding, let's quickly recap. What are data types? A data type defines what kind of data a variable can hold. Python automatically assigns a data type when you store a value in a variable.
So, if I write x equals 5, Python knows it's a number?
Yes, Python detects the type of x based on its value. Let's explore each type with practical examples.
Numeric types, integer, float, and complex numbers.
Numbers are one of the most used data types in Python. Let's see how Python classifies them.
First, integers, int, whole numbers without decimals. Second, floating point numbers, float, in numbers with decimal points. Third, complex numbers, complex, in numbers with a real and an imaginary part.
Now I will demonstrate different data types in Python. Step 1. Here I have defined three variables. Now what happens here? Num1 equal to 100. Python automatically recognizes 100 as an integer. In short, we can term it as int. Num2 equal to 10.5. Since this number has a decimal, Python treats it as a floating point number. We can term it as float. Num3 equal to 3 plus 2j. This is a complex number and termed it as complex, consisting of 3 a real part, 2j imaginary part. In Python, j represents the imaginary unit. Step 2 includes checking data types. How does Python determine the type? When we use the type function, Python inspects the variable and returns its data type. Each variable has an associated class in Python, like for int, whole numbers, float, decimal numbers, and for complex, numbers with real and imaginary parts. Let's see how the output is going to be on the terminal. Here, the point to be noted is Python is dynamically typed, meaning you don't need to specify data types explicitly. It assigns the type based on the value stored in the variable. Let's summarize what we have learned now. Python automatically detects numeric data types based on values. Integers, floats, and complex numbers behave differently.
Wow, so Python is really smart in handling numbers. But, what if I want to mix types? Like adding an int to a float?
Great question. That leads us to type conversion and mixing data types, which we will cover in the coming episodes. Alright, now that we have explored numbers, let's move to another essential data type in Python, strings. A string in Python is used to store text data, letters, words, sentences, or even entire paragraphs. Step 2. Let's understand how string works here. What is happening? We assigned Python is1 to the variable message. Since it contains text enclosed in quotes, Python automatically recognizes it as a string str. The type function confirms the data type of message. Let's see the output with the help of print function.
Class str is the output of the type function in Python. It tells us that the value stored in the variable is of string type, str. This means message is an instance of the string class.
Step 3. Python allows us to define strings in different ways. Let me show you.
That's right. You can use single or double quotes to define a string. But if you need multiple lines, triple quotes are the way to go. The first two lines come from separate print calls. The third output spans multiple lines because of the multi-line string syntax using triple quotes. The print function moves to a new line automatically unless modified. Today, we took a deep dive into Python's data types and saw how they work in real code. We explored numeric types, int, float, complex with practical examples, how Python assigns types automatically, string data type, how Python stores and processes text. Understanding data types is the foundation of writing efficient and bug-free Python programs. Knowing how Python handles numbers and text will make your coding journey much smoother. But, Techie, what about Booleans? And lists? And dictionaries? There's so much more.
Have patience, Byte. That's exactly what we'll cover in the next episode. We will explore Boolean type, true or false, why does it matter, sequence types, lists, tuples and how they store data efficiently, mapping type, dictionaries, the secret to storing key value pairs. So don't miss out. Like, share, and subscribe to TechBytes for more Python learning made simple. And as always, keep coding and keep exploring. See you all in the next episode.